of Kent for the latest in our series of virtual open days. Today we are discussing the School of Maths, and during the next hour or so we'll be speaking to lecturers, students about what you can expect if you do choose to come and study here. We'll also be taking your questions as well, so if you do have any thoughts throughout the programme, then don't hesitate, just pop those in the box just below the video. We'll do our very best to get those answered for you by our expert panel. Talking of which, let's introduce the first panel. So if we could just introduce ourselves, please, guys.
My name is Peter Hayden. I'm head of the School of Maths, Statistics and Actuarial Science.
I'm Bas Lemmens, a reader in mathematics and deputy head.
Hi, I'm Rachel McRae, Senior Lecturer in Statistics and Deputy Director of Research for the school.
OK, thank you very much. Peter, you're up first today, so just tell us what we can expect.
OK, so today what we want to do is to give you a little bit of a feel for what the school is like. So you'll hear about our programmes, our educational approach, what we have in the way of facilities, what we provide in the way of support for students, something about careers and other opportunities that students will have. And we most of all want you to get a feel for how students experience this, what they think of being here.
Yeah, and we'll be speaking to some of those a little bit later on as well. Just talk us through a bit about the School of Maths then to start us off.
OK, so the school is located down in the southeast of England. We've got very good links to London. It's less than an hour to London on the train, close to the continent, and we have strong links with the rest of Europe. We're in the historic and very beautiful city of Canterbury. The really nice thing about Canterbury, it's a very, very student-friendly city. You know, it's a really nice place to be a student. Kent itself, called the Garden of England, it's really close to the sea where we are on three sides, so you get the choice of coasts. And we're in a beautiful parkland campus. It's a lovely place to be, modern student housing. We're within easy walking distance of the city centre. So it's a really nice place to be. It's a great place to be a university, and it means that what we have here is a safe and an inspiring place to learn. The school itself is based in Sibson, the Sibson building, which is a very new, purpose-built building. It was made for mathematics, made for teaching, specifically with the requirements of mathematics in mind, and we've got very nice state-of-the-art lecture rooms, computer facilities and everything else. Our programmes are across quite a wide range. So we have programmes in mathematics, in statistics, financial mathematics, actuarial science. We offer programmes joint with the business school in maths, accounting and finance, and joint with Canterbury Christ Church in maths with secondary education, which leads to qualified teacher status. All of our programmes, apart from that last one, which is run by Christ Church, carry professional, have the opportunity of having a professional placement. And this means that students can go out for a year, they're paid, they get genuine work experience as a member of staff in one of a number of firms, and they come back, they generally speaking do fabulously well. Lots of them come back with job offers from their companies, and generally speaking, it's a really great preparation for the workplace. That's one of the things we're really keen on, to make sure that our students are well prepared for what follows university, as well as having a great time at uni. The programmes in maths, statistics and actuarial science are a little bit different. The ones in mathematics, statistics and financial mathematics, they're very high-level programmes in mathematical sciences, and so the idea is to bring you to the forefront of the discipline. They're really designed to equip you for the high-level skills that you need to get a good graduate job in what is today a very, very competitive environment. The actuarial science degree is fully accredited by the professional body for actuaries in the UK, which is the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries. We have the maximum number of exemptions that you can obtain on any undergraduate degree programme, and these programmes also prepare you for master's level study, where you can again get the full range of professional exemptions. Nowhere offers more professional exam exemptions than we do across the country. So one of the distinctive features, I think, is that our actuarial science group is largely populated by people who have been professional actuaries, and we have more of those people with that industry experience than any other university. Not every student comes with a standard A-level maths background, and so for students that are coming from a non-standard background or who don't have A-level maths, or maybe students who haven't done so well in their A-level maths and want a chance to get better at that before they go for a degree programme, we have a foundation year. In fact, we have two. We have one for Actuarial Science degree, which really is geared to training people ready for that degree programme, and one more generally in mathematics, which leads into all of our other programmes. So these foundation programmes are distinctive in a way because they're taught by our academics, they're taught on campus. Students on that foundation year are as much students of the university as any of our other students and experience the full range of uni life on campus. Perhaps so to say a little bit about our educational approach. Given that the workplace is a really demanding environment, given that employers want people with high-level skills, we really aim to bring out the best in people. So that means challenging you all the way through. Our students will find that they are presented with things that are difficult, challenging, and that they can rise to them. They can rise to them because we give them the support that they need. Right from the time when they come in and they have small group tutorials with academics in the first year, they're getting that tailored support to help them to really do their best to thrive. And it's no surprise that our students are highly employable and highly sought after for placements and postgraduate. So perhaps one of the other distinctive things to say about us is we do provide a very high number of contact hours with academics. And that is not universal nowadays, let's put it that way, but we really think that it's important. The ethos of Kent is about caring about individuals and really wanting to make sure that every person that comes does the very best that they can. And we will help, we will cajole, we will encourage, and we will support people to do that.
And I just want to bring Baz in here because you mentioned a bit about how you get those opportunities in a very competitive market by coming here. What sort of jobs do students get out following graduation?
Well, students end up in all sorts of industries. So nowadays, data and data science play a big role. So lots of people who have a statistics background end up as data analysts. Also in banking and investment, there are natural jobs for mathematicians and people with a mathematical background. So that's a normal entry also into a job market. Insurance companies, consultancy, but also people end up in technology companies and engineering. We have people also going to the Met Office or in other government bodies. So it's a very diverse spectrum, actually, of where people can find a job. It's more what sort of personal interest do people have. And there has to be some sort of maths background or content to the job, which is quite common nowadays with technology and data floating about everywhere.
You rightly point out there really is a great range of diversity which you can go into. What about scholarships here? Are they available?
Scholarships, yes. There are a few scholarships available. So the university has a number, but one to really point out is actually our Academic Excellence Scholarship, which for 2020 entry, it is £2,000 off for stage 1 of your study if you actually score AAB in A-levels with an A in the relevant subject. So in our case, that would be mathematics. Mm-hmm. So, there are other scholarships on sports and music available too, but people should go to the website. And these are open actually not only to UK students, but to international students as well. So,
okay.
I ought to, I think, come in and just say something a little bit about what students think of us and what the wider world thinks of us, because we do have this distinct educational approach, and the question is, does it work? And Baz, perhaps you'd maybe like to say something about that.
Yeah, so we do score very well in all sorts of league tables and surveys. So actually last year in the 2020 Times Good University Guide, we were ranked 24th in mathematics, which places us well in the top third of mathematics degrees in the UK. The university also won the Outstanding Support for Students category in the Times Higher Education Award several times in the past couple of years. Last year's National Student Survey, 94% of our responding mathematics students thought that our degree, the quality of our, were satisfied with the quality of our degree course. And 97% of our students also found the course intellectually stimulating. So I think we're doing a good job there. Also, actually, our graduate prospects, Peter already talked about it, which is excellent for people doing degrees in our school. Actually, we were joint ranked third in the 2020 Complete University Guide for Employability. And according to Unistats, 100% of our students are actually within work or in a higher study within 6 months of after graduation. So I think these are very good statistics. And in fact, the way we sort of achieve this, I think, is by a mix of things. We have excellent staff working for us. They're not only dedicated teachers, but they're also outstanding researchers in their fields. And actually, lots of them have actually grants from research councils and funding bodies to support their research. And actually, their expertise and knowledge will help students actually to progress and actually appreciate advanced mathematics and advanced statistics. So that, I think, is something really worth to point out. Also, students get the opportunity in our degrees to do just more than just following courses. They can participate in other activities we organize, like outreach sessions we have with secondary schools or even primary school mathematics, and our students can participate and help out in there. We also offer summer research projects for our students, so to get some actually hands-on research experience. I've run several of these myself, and some of them have actually led to publications with these students. And in fact, one of our current PhD students did one of those projects with me, and is now actually a PhD student here. So that definitely works out. As Peter already said, we have quite intensive programs, but it comes with lots of contact hours with our academics. So either through small group tutorials, but also you have intense contact with your academic advisor, who sort of follows your journey here throughout your 3 years, and their office hours. Every academic has office hours, so, and they're quite keen to work with students to work through the material.
I just want to bring in Rachel here, who's been waiting patiently to,
Yes.
to contribute. Just remind us of what your role is and how you help the students throughout the university.
Yep, so every single academic here works really hard to support our undergraduate and postgraduate students. And throughout this virtual open day, you're going to have an opportunity to hear more details about the actual programmes that we offer, the types of support that we give for career employability, and also you're going to hear directly from the students, as we said earlier, and obviously their perspective is key for people who are interested in coming to study with us.
OK, we'll hear from some of those students, a few more lecturers in a few moments' time, but so we can get our first video of the afternoon now to give you a bit more understanding about what it's like to study here.
My name is Andreas Formakas and I come from the beautiful island of Cyprus and I'm studying Actuarial Science. I think the greatest thing about the School of Mathematics, especially at Kent is located in a small city where it has a very small sense of community that greatly reflects my own country as a whole as well. And the School of Mathematics gives me that opportunity to come together with highly intelligent individuals from all across the world. From a very young age, I was exposed to many European crises, economic crises that happened during Europe, and what fascinated me most was the actuarial analysts mitigated most of the risks, and a lot of my professors have seen my potential in mathematics and statistics, so they recommended me to combine these disciplines along with my developed business acumen to pursue a degree such as this. The school was very supportive to me and to many other students, because not only the lecturers are very good at teaching their material, but they're also very competent researchers. And whenever you have a question, you can just drop in at their flexible office hours and they'll answer whatever you have in mind. I think the new SIPSU building is amazing, it's brilliant, it's huge, but now it will act as the headquarters for the School of Mathematics, which we didn't previously have before. So we'll have now it will finally create a sense of community between the students and professors as well. Overall, my experience in the University of Kent was being very welcoming. The staff was very helpful, the students were very kind. It's one of the most challenging courses that you will ever face, but it's very enjoyable as well if you have the necessary tool set to go with it. And at the end, it's also very rewarding because it will net you with the greatest analytical and problem-solving skills that you ever dream of. This experience will net me with the fundamentals to start a great career in actuarial science. If you'd like to study at one of the most leading universities in the UK and one of the most challenging courses that anyone could possibly do, then University of Kent is for you.
My name is Macaulay and I study financial maths. Maths has always been an interest of mine. Since I was young, I've always been better at maths than most other subjects. The financial aspect interested me more because I wanted to work in the financial sector, and this course was quite unique to the university because not many other universities offered it. The best thing about studying with SumSAS is the ease of access with both information and the facilities. The lecturers are readily available, they respond at least within a day, and their advice is always useful. If I had to sum up this course, I'd say difficult but rewarding, because the content is difficult, but once you finally grasp it, you feel like you've really achieved something. I definitely would recommend studying financial maths here because of the opening of this new building specifically. New students will have access to this throughout their whole studies, and also it's quite local to some of the accommodation as well. And there's a lot of study spaces available. The old building seemed quite claustrophobic and quite old, but now this one has a real uniqueness to it. I would definitely say it's been a unique experience. I've obviously never really experienced anything else like this, and I have friends across the country who are at all different types of unis, and none of their universities sound anything like this university.
Okay, we can get into our second panel now. Rachel's just shuffled over, but we've got a couple of new faces on these. So just introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name's Claire Dunning. I'm the head of the maths group here, and I'm a lecturer in applied mathematics.
And good afternoon, I'm Ian Rogers. I'm a lecturer in Actuarial Science. I'm also the Employability Officer for the school and the Deputy Director of Education.
Okay, thank you. So Claire, just tell us a bit more about the maths and the joint honours programme that you've got here.
Okay, so on the screen you can see we've got several joint honours programmes. Ian's going to talk about the BSc in Actuarial Science in a little bit, and Rachel's going to talk about the BSc in Maths and Stats. But we have a BSc in Mathematics, the standard 3-year programme. Also comes in a 4-year variant, which is the M-Math, where in your 4th year you spend a year doing a whole load of extra modules at MSc level, essentially. And then we've got joint programmes, BSc in Financial Mathematics, which combines finance with mathematics, as it suggests, and there's the Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics, Accounting and Finance. So that's taught jointly with the Kent Business School, who are in the other half of the building here in Sibson. The last one we have is an interesting one. It's the BSc in Maths with Secondary Education, where you spend 2 years with us doing the ordinary maths degree, and then in your final year you go to Christchurch, University Canterbury Christchurch, who are in the centre of town in Canterbury, and you do qualified teacher status. So after 3 years you graduate as a teacher as well as with your maths degree.
And Rachel, just tell us a bit more about the Maths and Statistics programme, if you will.
So the BSc in Maths and Statistics is a really exciting opportunity to bridge the two disciplines. You're developing sought-after analytical skills as well as getting that foundation of mathematical knowledge as well. The programme's accredited by the Royal Statistical Society, and during the programme students become confident in the use of statistical software, which is a skill that's really sought after by employers.
And Ian, for yourself, why do you think people should come and study here at Kent?
So Kent offers a wide variety of different courses, as we've said, and for actuarial science in particular, we've got one of the leading actuarial science programmes in the country and actually in the world. Peter mentioned earlier on the wide range of experience that our actuaries have got working in industry before coming into teaching. And that means we can help to train students to become actuaries on the basis of our practical experience that we've got.
And what are some of the skills that students will develop as part of doing that course?
So for Actuarial Science in particular, the programme is a mix of financial modules and mathematical modules. So they'll develop core mathematical skills, problem-solving skills, and skills in mathematical proof. And they'll also develop a lot of knowledge in finance and accounts. And then later on, as we go through the courses, they're also learning how to use some key software, things like Excel and Profit, which is one of the leading industry bits of software that's used within life assurance. And so they receive training and coaching in all of those key areas, those software areas they're going to work in. And they also get modules in professional practice, learning about what actuaries actually do day to day.
And Claire, Rachel, what about projects? What can people do there?
So in our final year, it's optional to do a project for the BSc students, except for the actuaries, because they're doing professional qualifications. For the M-Maths, it's compulsory in their final year that they do a 3-module credit. So all sorts of various different topics, and Rachel's going to tell you about some of her really exciting ones to do with her research in statistical ecology. They're mainly doing this because they're going to develop really important transferable skills for later, so oral communication, writing skills, working collaboratively. Some of our projects are in groups, and of course organising themselves to be able to do this.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rachel, just give us an insight into some of those projects.
Yep, so a lot of our staff here are conducting internationally leading research, and really project work is a time for academics to work with students on some really exciting topics. So within the statistics group, we have people working on both theoretical and applied statistics, and I'm part of the statistical ecology group here. So we work very closely with ecologists to develop statistical models in order to tackle conservation issues. And obviously at the moment that's a really interesting and vibrant area of research to be working on. And students can work alongside the ecologists who've actually collected the data, developing their third-year project with us.
Okay, yeah, of course we are taking your questions, so if you do have any, then do make sure that you send them through to us. So we've got a couple so far. One is there an opportunity to learn computer software?
Yes, so within our undergraduate degree programme, we teach R in a lot of our modules. Also in the mathematics modules, they cover Maple and MATLAB.
Yeah, which are professional pieces of software in the same way as Ian was talking about Profit being the relevant piece of software in the actuarial world. I use Maple every day in my research. Well, I don't do research every day, but and the students have access to it. If they come here, they can download a free copy onto their own computer, or they can use any of our terminal rooms. We've got some in the building, and they're all over campus as well.
Okay, great. Another one here. I'm interested in becoming a maths teacher. Should I follow a maths degree or a maths degree with education?
Interesting one. So it really depends. So a maths degree with education is a 3-year qualification. So after 3 years, you can immediately go into a secondary school and you can teach up to sixth form, up to and including. The advantage of perhaps doing a maths degree first is you've got a much broader background in mathematics. You'll have had that extra third-year level of understanding of maths. And after that, you can go off and go into any of the teaching routes. So you can go and do the PGCHE or go and do the training in schools. So personal preference.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Another one we've had in is, I'd like a career in the city. Which programme is best for me?
So, well... a career in the city, there's a huge range of different careers in the city. So actually any of the programmes really will give you opportunities to work in the city. My own degree actually is in maths, and my colleagues from college were doing a wide range of different jobs. And I'll talk later on actually about the wide range of things that people can do with a maths degree. So again, it's going to come down a little bit to personal preference and a little bit down to if you've got a particular role that you're interested in within the city. So if you're interested in an actuarial role, then there's a clear argument for doing actuarial science, which is that you get a lot of exemptions from the professional exams that we need to study. So to qualify as an actuary, there are several years' worth of exams that you need to to take and to pass to become a fellow of the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries. If you do the undergraduate course here, you can come out with exemptions from about half of those exams. And if you go on to do the master's course, and we're one of the few universities in the world that offer master's level courses in actuarial science, you can come out with 5 further exemptions, leaving only 2 exams that you need to take in order to qualify. So if you're interested in a city actuarial career, then actuarial science is very strong. But really, financial maths will open lots of doors in broad financial careers, so could include banking, investment type roles. But maths and stats, again, they give you all of the skills that you need, the analytical skills, data handling, problem solving skills that will all be great. So I would say really a lot of it is down to preference. If you want to study some more finance now, then financial maths is great. If you have particular interest in statistics, then the maths and stats degrees will be good. Again, at this stage, if you want to study a broad mathematical range of subjects, then the maths degree is good.
It goes back to what we were saying a little bit earlier about the diversity of what you can go into from studying here. But so 3 of you, for the time being, thanks ever so much indeed. And here's a little clip now to explain a little bit more about the other jobs you can get by studying here.
I did a year in industry at Jacob Dow Egberts. It's one of the largest pure play coffee companies. So just after Nestle, they own the brands you'd know, such as Kenco. I was in the finance department for the Banbury plant, which is the only plant they have in the UK, because I've been able to do industrial placement. The industrial placement also helps me secure an internship straight after, so I've already got like a year and a half of experience.
It gives you the skills that employers are really looking for nowadays, being able to think rigorously, logically, and to have some fun doing it. We are here because basically we like maths, and we've liked maths ever since we were little mathematicians.
Definitely, if you're thinking about doing a year in industry, it's really good support here. And we have a Facebook group chat and emails by them all the time, so you can never really forget about all the things you have to do, and you're prepared really well in year 1. So we have lots of workshops every week on building our CV and lots of things we can go to learn about the places we might want to apply to next year.
So mathematicians are going to work, for example, at Boeing. They're going to do into some of the research labs at various companies. They're working at IBM, they're working in Xerox, might also be working in finance or accounting. One of the students who's just returned spent a year working at Kia, the car company.
They have 2 dedicated members of staff, so everything they do is to do with the year in industry. But by going on these placements, they seem to almost walk into a job. So a large proportion of the students I know quite well have been very successful in sort of getting their dream job.
Hello, I'm Sean Warren and I am in 2nd year studying maths. I chose to study maths at the University of Kent because the campus is beautiful and I really enjoy the city of Canterbury. The best thing about studying here is the communal feel that the School of Maths has. Everyone seems to look out for everyone else. My favourite topic has been linear algebra, and I like this because it has many applications to real life problems. The most interesting part of the course so far for me has been cryptography that we study in number theory. This has many applications to coding and I find it very fascinating. The school is very supportive of me. If I can't make a lecturer's hours, they will always make extra time for me and make sure that I can go through the questions with them. The new Silverton building is great. I really like the layout of the building and it's so new. Now all of the maths department have one home, everything's under one roof and in the same place, which is really good. I've gained many skills through being here at Kent, and I feel like these will definitely benefit me in my future career. The course so far has been absolutely brilliant and I've loved every second of it.
Okay, so we're going to discuss a bit of placement, employability now. Chloe is a student here. She's joined myself and Ian on the sofas. So Ian, I'll come to you first. Just give us a bit more of an insight about the employability prospects and placements that you can get here at the School of Maths.
Yeah, I mean, in the opening section, Peter talked about our success in employability and a focus on helping students to develop their career while they're at Kent. So it's not just about the academic study, but it's looking forward to the 3 years when they're going to start work. And we put a lot of emphasis across the university and within the school on helping people get jobs and build their skills while they're at university. We're talking earlier on about different careers as well that mathematicians can go into. And one of the really great things about doing a maths degree is the breadth of different jobs that people can do, but also how good those jobs are. So we've got a slide at the moment showing a survey of, this was based on about 200 different careers that people can go into as graduates or after school. And of those 200, I've shown here the top 10. So 5 of these top 10 jobs that you can do across any sort of subject area, 5 of these are essentially mathematician, data scientist, statistician, mathematician, operations research, which is about applying maths to problems of organisation and business, and then actuary, which is about applying maths to problems of long-term finance. So we're in a really great position as mathematicians across a broad range of subjects, the wide range of different jobs we can do and how good some of these jobs are. These are ranked really on working conditions, on career opportunities and on pay. So there's some really great things that people can do with a maths degree and across a wide range of different areas. So we're helping students to prepare for these degrees. And there's a wide range of support that we provide. There's the Career Service offer events really almost every day to help people to build their CV and to help prepare for interviews and help prepare for assessment centres, help to decide what jobs that they want to do. We have visits from employers, a major careers event every year where we have lots of employers come in and talk about opportunities and other events through the year where people can come and meet recent graduates and employers. So there's a wide range of support there for everybody. But also, as we said earlier on, all of our degrees offer the chance to do a year in industry. So typically this is between your second and third year of your programme. You go out and do a year working for a company. It's a paid year. You're doing a proper graduate type job, and in fact the training you get on those jobs is very much like in the graduate programme, and you can work anywhere in the UK or elsewhere, in fact. So we've had students all around the UK. I've been to see people in Scotland and Northern Ireland, a lot around London. We have some around the southeast as well and southwest, and some even overseas. We've had people working in Hong Kong, Singapore, Netherlands, Botswana as well recently, and across a wide range of different areas, and people are starting to build up skills that will be really useful for when they start work. And so those 1 year placements are available on all of our programmes, apart from the education one where you're getting placement experience in schools. And we give you lots of support to help you find those opportunities, and again to build skills and build CVs and help with applications. And so we've had people working in a wide range of different roles and different companies. We've got some up on the screen here. Consulting organisations like Deloitte. We've got government organisations like there's the Government Actuaries Department there. We've also had people working with the Pension Protection Fund quite often. Insurance companies, commercial organisations, Xerox. We often have people at Xerox. We've had a few people at Disney and a few people at car companies as well. And yeah, people have loved the opportunity to work. The car companies, I've been amazed that 20-year-olds having a company car for a year to drive around in. They've really enjoyed that. Opportunities to travel as well and see real world opportunities. So we have a student who's been successful on a placement, and so it's a great opportunity, I think, to hear about your opportunities, what you were doing, how you found the placement.
Yeah, I was going to say, Chloe, you are one of the success stories of the placement. Tell us about your experience and where you worked.
So I worked at a company called Fremantle. They're a massive media company that they working on to see what exactly I wanted to go into, because I wasn't sure. Like, I studied pure maths as my undergrad, and knowing exactly how to apply it was something that I wanted to find out. So I worked on the royalties department for about 9 months, which I loved. It was a great team, great atmosphere. I learnt a lot. And then whilst being there, I earned opportunities to work on other departments. So I worked on the intellectual property department 1 afternoon a week. And then I actually earned the opportunity to work with their global research and insights team for the last 3 months of my placement. And on that team, we looked into ratings, so it was a lot more statistical. So I covered a lot of financial aspects and accounting, but then I also covered the stats side. And then because I was able to discover so many departments and exactly kind of find out what I liked, I've ended up in the position I am now and doing a master's in stats, which I didn't expect from doing a finance placement, but yeah.
Tell us about the process when you started the placement, how you came to the one that you ended up at in the end.
So we have some ladies here that are specifically for the SumSAS department helping us find placements, and they were so helpful and so friendly and lovely, and they were the biggest help. So they encouraged us and they taught us as such exactly how to apply and the opportunities that were out there. And then so it kind of started from there, and I applied to lots of jobs, and we were told that you apply to quite a few, and you shouldn't, like, you take the first few as like practice, because obviously it's something new. We've never really applied for jobs, and if you've come from a background of where you haven't really worked much, you don't have much experience, so it's hard getting it on paper, especially for someone like myself who's better with numbers than I am with words, and especially putting it on paper. So they were really supportive and helpful, and then they just guided you through the application process. And then, so at Fremantle it was quite nice and simple process. It was just the one interview, and then I was offered the position. So,
how rewarding would you say your placement year has been now that you can look back on it?
Really, it's been probably the highlight of my undergrad, just because of how much I learned, and I felt like I grew a lot as a person. I became a lot more confident and sociable, and I just learned so many things, as well as the kind of the intellectual side that you'd expect from the placement year. I learned so many social things and techniques to get into the business world, and just lots of things in general.
It's something we notice all the time with students, actually. So as part of the process, when people are out on placements, we go and visit the students twice a year, and there's various things that you have to do as part of your programme that you're assessed on, preparing reports and presentations and things. And you spend a day coming back in March each year. You come back and you present to us, and it's incredible, actually. Even on the first visit, which is a few weeks in, we see a big change in people. I think it really helps people move. It changes their attitude, I think, from being I'm a student to I'm a young professional, I think. So, and we see that even a few months in. But as you say, I think people come back really much more confident.
Yeah.
Often people are working in a different area. Sometimes it can be a new town for them. They're often not in Canterbury, often London or elsewhere, or anywhere in the UK. And it may not be a town that they are necessarily familiar with.
Yeah.
And I think just that another opportunity to live somewhere new. And you're working in an environment then which isn't just a student environment. It's supportive, but it's not just a student environment.
Yeah.
And I think that really helps. And just the general working atmosphere of juggling multiple tasks and dealing with different people, dealing with clients, I think it really helps, and it really changes people. And when we next see them, they feel like, you're a young professional.
Yeah, you evolve, is how I would say. Yeah.
I think it makes it then much easier, I think, to get a job at the end of your programme, having done the placement and the experience you've got.
Yeah, most of my year from my undergrad now, they all have a job or decided to do masters, but the majority have a job, and it did make having that experience and having developed your social skills and just general experience. It really did help with applying to jobs afterwards. It was something that I would really recommend, I have to say.
Yeah, very much enhance your prospects
Yeah.
as such. A couple of questions coming in. Ian, one for you. Can you talk about the events plan to prepare students for employment or further study?
Yeah, so there's a massive range of events that we run through the year. So I was looking today. So this week there's about half a dozen different events going on. Some organised by the university. So there's things this week about LinkedIn profiles and how to build your LinkedIn profiles. There's a session this week on how to find jobs that aren't advertised. Because not all jobs are advertised, so there's some training on that. There's always training on writing CVs and preparing for interviews and assessment centres. So a whole range of things that the University Career Service organise. And then there's a range of other things that we organise within the school. So this week, actually, we're doing an event about further study and an event about teaching as well, and we've done other events about working as an actuary. We've had people come back and recent graduates come back and talk to us. Early next term we've got something on working in insurance and on working in wealth management. So there's a range of different events, and there's other sort of courses and programs you can do. There's a whole range of optional courses that you can do on languages that the university offer, and on further computer training and presentation skills and academic support skills that will help both your degree actually and your employability as well. There's a huge range of things going on around the university.
Okay, well, plenty going on in the future. To both of you, thank you very much indeed. We'll be back in a few minutes' time after this short clip for you.
We try to set demanding programmes and then to give the students the support they need to really flourish and to do more than they thought was possible. It's a great joy to be able to help people to come out with really top-level qualifications that any employer is really going to be happy to have.
So if you love maths, then you can succeed here at Kent, regardless of your background, gender, race, or any disabilities. We've got an Athena Swan Silver Award, one of only a handful of UK maths departments who have this award for gender equality.
We have student reps which are really easy to talk to. We also have Recharge Your Maths, so I think that's really helpful for first year and second year, and it gives you a lot of support in coming in from maybe A-levels, or even if you took a gap year. So I took a gap year, so being able to do Recharge Your Maths and develop on the things I may have forgotten about is really helpful. Other than that, just generally lecturers are really friendly and make it clear when you can go see them, and you can email them if you can't make those times as well.
Our programmes have the option of a foundation year for students who are coming to us with different backgrounds in mathematics. So this is an absolutely fantastic programme. It's taught here by our lecturers in our building, and it's fully integrated into our degrees.
There's just a lot of support. That's probably the main thing I noticed. There's a lot of support in Kent. And even when I had difficulties during my placement year, I could contact them or give them a call and they will talk me through it. So I think it's the main thing that students will find with Kent is you can get a lot of personal support that you might not necessarily get everywhere else.
Okay, a couple of new faces for us. Claire's also back alongside us. Just introduce yourselves firstly, guys.
Yeah, so I'm Trin. I'm a third year student on the mathematics programme.
And I'm Alexa. I'm the Director of Education.
Okay, I'll come to you guys in a moment, but firstly just remind us of the structure of the programme.
So structure of our mathematical sciences degrees, mainly want to give you just a flavour of what goes on in stage one. So no matter which of the degrees that I spoke about earlier you're on, you're doing 8 modules. So we have 4 modules in the autumn term now, 12-week term, 4 modules in the spring term. And in our first year, there is no choice in any of the modules because we need to give everybody a really solid background in all of the different material, taking you from A-level or whatever your current qualification is to the end of our stage one. So how we teach that is we have lectures. There's typically 4 hours a week, and I typically have 3 hours of lectures and 1 hour of an exercise class. Some lecturers prefer to have 4 hours where they mix exercises in with the lectures. And then we also have small group tutorials in the first year, which for us are really important. So a group size of perhaps 7 or 8 or 10, depending on the actual topic.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about academic support in this section. Alexa, just talk about the academic support programme for us.
Yes, I think we're probably going to have a little bit of background first, and then I'll come in.
Okay, yeah, far away.
The detail of the academic support.
Yeah, so our academic support programme, there's some information on it about the slide. It's a programme where we're really preparing students for life after university, because the degree is not just about doing some maths and stuff, it's building lots of other skills as well. So it runs from when you start, right from week 0 until they graduate, and a whole series of different activities. Every student here at the University of Kent has a personal academic advisor who's there to advise them on all matters academic related to their course. And they really get to know you, so it should usually be the same person all the way around, and they're going to support that person to get the most out of their degree, their time here in the University of Kent. So our students typically have really close working relationships with our staff. So we're all in the same building. We're today in the Student Study Centre. Our offices are just outside and they're just upstairs. So the students have lots of opportunity to interact with us. So occasionally we'll walk past them as we're going to get a coffee, and they'll come and ask us about maybe some homework, and that's all fine. So already mentioned the small group tutorials in the first year. Students have at least one of these a week, depending on their course, and sometimes they'll have 2 a week in slightly larger classes as well.
And Trin, how helpful have you found the academic advisors?
Very helpful, especially in the first year with, as Claire mentioned, the tutorials weekly. That's really helpful to kind of teach you how to learn in the university environment in comparison to at school, because I think it's very different, so that's really helped. Also, there's office hours for lecturers. I think there's a couple of them a week, so they'll definitely be in there. But to be honest, most of the time when I see lecturers, it's outside of office hours, and when I just see them in their room and going to talk to them, which they're very happy to do so, which is something that pleasantly surprised me when starting at university.
And from a student point of view, what would you say is the most beneficial thing to having that option?
The option?
The option of an academic advisor?
Well, I think that is, one thing for me is I'm currently applying for further study, and my academic advisor from the first year, she's been really helpful in guiding me to which best modules to take, to best prepare me for that, along with write me references, etc. So not just academic work, or it's helpful for other parts of your life also.
Okay, we are, of course, taking your questions, so do keep sending those through to us. We've got one here, which is, how often might I expect to see my academic advisor?
Okay, I'll take that one. You can expect to see them probably at least once every fortnight in the first year, so that you get to know them, as we've already said. But then there's also the opportunity, maybe twice a year, to have a one-to-one meeting with them. And then, of course, there's always the office hours or booking in by appointment, so you can see them more frequently if you wish.
Okay, and we were mentioning it a little bit earlier, but just explain to us a bit more about the support programme and your role in it.
Okay, so what we've done is set up a support programme that supplements the office hours and the appointments, and also these one-to-one meetings with the academic advisor. So working through from the foundation year, when some students join us, then we realise that sometimes moving from your previous education experience to university can be a bit strange. So we've identified some foundation year buddies who are ex-foundation year students who typically are in their first year, who've been through the experience before. So a couple of times a week, they are available for the new foundation year students to meet them, find out about or ask questions about university life and studying. So it's really that kind of support at foundation year. Then when they move into the first year, that's when they really get to know their academic advisor because of the small group tutorials that Claire mentioned. And you also get to know the other students in your tutorial group, which is of great benefit as well. Now, moving on then, by the time you get into the second year, we expect your study skills to have developed beyond your pre-university experience. So to recognise that, we put in a different type of support, which is where Trin comes in his academic peer mentoring role. And we have some third-year students who have volunteered to be academic peer mentors. And again, there are drop-in sessions during of the week, and that's specifically to help students with their modules. So they can drop in and ask about any of the modules that the academic peer mentors are covering.
And Trent, just explain to us a bit more about your peer mentoring role and how you found it.
Yeah, so as Alexa said, we have a couple of maths students and a couple of actuarial science students who are the peer mentors. Then this term we have 3 modules, and next term we have a further 3 modules. So students in stage 2 then come in as they like and speak to us about any of their material or any assignments we can give them hints about, or anything like that. So I think it's good because it's more peer-to-peer rather than to someone who's an expert in a subject. Because we've learnt it a lot more recently, last year, we know exactly where I found it and where we found it more difficult. Whereas I think sometimes with lecturers, they've done it, I've done it a fair bit of time ago, and now experts at that subject, they can sometimes forget what parts they maybe found difficult. Whereas because we've done it so recently, we can easily point it out and emphasise certain parts. So yeah, that's.
Yeah, it's very handy, isn't it? We just got another question which has come in. It is, at school I have special arrangements for exams. Does the university offer something similar?
Yes, they do. It's probably best to tell us about it sooner rather than later. And the person within the school to make contact with would be part of our student support team. And they will then act as the link to Student Support and Wellbeing Service, who have experts who can set up those sorts of arrangements. So it could be extra time in exams, it could be particular arrangements for modules, that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you very much. So to 3 of you, thank you as well. We'll be back in a few minutes' time. We'll be discussing a bit more about student life here at Canterbury.
I chose to come to Kent because when I was looking at the unis, I was also looking at sort of the accommodation and the area it's in, and those are things that really appealed to me. And other than that, when I actually visited the maths building, I found it a really nice environment and somewhere I could actually imagine being every day.
For me, personally, I think it's the perfect balance of academia and sociability. So you come here, you know you're going to receive good lecture and a good education, but at the same time, Kent has a lot of societies, a lot of nightclubs, so you'll learn, but you can also have fun.
It's got shops, it's got bars, cafes, everything you could want, and any societies you can play football, rugby. Canterbury is a stunning little city. We've got really nice cobble streets and a cathedral and little shops everywhere. There's not a whole lot of universities that do the accredited actuarial science course in England, and Kent is one of the best of those universities. And this has really helped me learn a lot more about stuff like economics and computing. We do a bit of, and corporate finance, and a bit of accounting, and then you do modelling.
Next term I'll be doing stats for insurance, which is something I'm quite interested in doing and looking forward to learning. So it was really nice the fact that we could choose some of our subjects this year. It's been quite nice. I'm still able to get a part-time job and still able to have time to myself.
Thinking a little bit more about student life now. I've got Trin, Chloe's back, Amy is our fresh face on the sofa this time around. Thank you very much to the three of you. Firstly, just give us an idea, I suppose. First day, first year, how did you find it? What were your first impressions?
I think compared to like other subjects, with maths you get a lot of contact hours, so you spend quite a lot of time in uni in your first year. So I tended to have probably 4 hours of contact time per lecture, and then also in your first year you get tutorials as well. So you do spend quite a lot of time in uni studying. Everything is quite new. It can be quite overwhelming to begin with because obviously coming to uni, maths is quite different. But yeah, it's really good fun. I think it's really important to try and have fun as well at the same time in first year.
And what would you say a student is being like now compared to when you started? What have you learned, would you say?
Because it's slightly more independent, you don't have the contact hours, as much contact hours, especially with the academic advisor. I think that's one of the main differences. Although the time spent with your contact hours with the academic advisor in your first year kind of amply prepares you for personal studying yourself. So that would be the main difference.
Chloe, what would be your advice to people watching at home who are thinking about coming to the School of Maths and persuading them to come here?
I would say that I wouldn't say there's a massive jump in terms of kind of level of education between A-levels and uni, but I would say like the teaching style is different. So what these guys have just touched on is probably the biggest jump, but this university really helps to like set you up for it. So I would say, don't be nervous. Like everyone's in the same boat, and everyone kind of goes for it together, and then you get used to it together. So it's nothing to worry about.
And what about student life in Canterbury? Speaking about the School of Maths, of course, people are interested in maths, but interested in the other social aspects. What would you say are the best benefits to living in Canterbury?
Well, I'd say there's loads of things to do, isn't there, in Canterbury? So there's actually 3 unis in Canterbury. So we're University of Kent, so we're at the top of the hill. And then in town, we've got Canterbury Christchurch. And there's also it's like the art, what was it called? The University of Art or something like that in there. So I think actually like 50% of the population is students in Canterbury. So there's loads of things to do. It's really student-y. What about you?
There's a lot of, in terms of like on this uni, there's a lot of societies.
Yeah.
Societies are great. I didn't actually join a society in my first year, and I don't, it's not that I regret it, but I wish I had. When I went on my placement year, I came back and I was like, well, all my friends have graduated now. I was like, I need friends. So then that's when I joined the Trampolining Society, and I'm so pleased I did because I made so many great friends there. So there's lots of things here to do in Canterbury.
Would that be one of your big bits of advice? Don't be afraid to just throw yourself into different societies when you first start.
I think you've got to.
So in Freshers' Fair in the first week, you have to just sign up for everything you can. I went and did polo. That was really funny. I did...
That was archery.
Oh, was it archery? Yeah.
I don't know why I did that.
There's some really crazy societies. There's almost a society for everything. So, yeah, my best bit of advice would be to try absolutely anything and just give everything a go, because that way you'll meet like-minded people.
Trin, your advice to people about what they can expect from Canterbury?
I think Canterbury has a kind of the best parts of both worlds in terms of it's a city and a very small city, so it's not a lot in terms of the size. You're not going to get lost anywhere, but at the same time it has all the activities and shops, etc., which the city does. So in terms of, it's easy to get involved with stuff because it's a small space, but there's also a lot to do. So.
I remember when we spoke to students on previous virtual open days, there's been a real sense that they get a sense of community amongst, and it's almost like a little village amongst the students because there are so many here. Would you go along with that?
Definitely, especially when you live on campus. Like in Parkwood, for example, the student accommodation down there, it's basically just like a little village. So that's really social down there. And yeah,
people, when you're on campus, I think because you spend so much time together in close proximity, you really get to know people more quickly, and then kind of you have this community, and then when you go on second, third year, if you want to move out into town, then like you bring the community with you. But obviously it's just nice when you're on campus because it really is like a little village, isn't it? Yeah. And there's like different areas of Parkwood, for example, and it's like you've gone to a new town.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And Trim, we've been speaking a little bit about first year regarding the School of Maths. How does it differ from second year and moving forward after that?
It does. The difference, which I mentioned earlier, would be the how much support in terms of contact hours with your lecturers. But in terms of the other parts, such as, you still have enough time to do societies, etc. It's not like you get to third year and you can't do anything. So there's a good balance to it. Of course, the work gets harder, but in proportion to every year. So you don't get some jump and then you can't have time to do anything. So apart from the time spent with your academic advisor in your first year, that's the main real difference between the years.
What about work and social balance? Because that's always difficult no matter sort of what walk of life. When you come straight into university, it can be difficult. What bits of advice would you give there?
I think the key to having a good university experience is getting that balance. And sometimes at the beginning, it can be a little bit difficult to strike that balance that's right for you, because for different people, everyone kind of needs more like rest time or social time, and once you strike that balance, then there's kind of no problem. But yeah, it's not difficult to get the good balance, but it just takes time getting used to what is right for you and then how best to do it.
For me, I found just coming into uni and studying from 9 till 5 was perfect. So even if we didn't have any lectures, I'd come in at 9, I'd leave at 5, and any hours outside of that were my time.
That's what
I do. I found that sort of the best way to go about it. When it is quite hard in first year when you're living on campus, because it's easy to go home in the middle of the day and things like that.
Yeah.
But in second and third year, when you're living in town, it's much more easier to stay in uni all day, and that's how I found I kept a good balance between work and social. And also it gets you in the sort of swing of things when you go out to a job, because when you go out to work, you're not going to be able to get there at 11 o'clock in the morning. So getting up at 9 o'clock and getting yourself in the routine is a really good bit of advice, I think.
So did you say getting that sense of structure, organisation straight away is one of the best things you can do?
Definitely.
I think so, yeah. I was more strict on it in my third year once coming back from placement. And I really noticed the difference in how much work I was able to get done, how much more productive I was, and then also how much more rested I was, because I'd work 9 to 5, rest in the evenings, and then I could go out on the weekends. And it was just, that's my good balance. But
What about the jump from school to university? Because people will be watching at home and it's perceived as quite a big jump. It is a big jump because you're moving away from home. How did you find that, and how did you adapt to that?
I think the main jump from school to university is the change in environment, and it's more you got to do your learning yourself to a certain extent. Obviously, you have that support time in the first year, but after that, it's a lot down to you. In terms of the jump in the material, I wouldn't say it's as much as, say, like GCSE to A level. I would say don't worry about don't worry about it being a major jump in difficulty. It will be harder, of course. Maths is hard, and don't worry about it if you don't get it to begin with if you're not meant to. But I think the main challenge is learning it yourself rather than the actual jump in difficulty.
And obviously, there's a jump in education. There's quite a big jump, I suppose, in the fact that people have to be more independent. How did you find that?
For me, I found that really hard because when I was in school, I was very, very lazy. I think for me, it was really important I planned my time well. So, like I said, coming into uni at 9 and leaving at 5 was really important because I could dedicate time to learn. And setting myself little goals and lists of things to do kept me motivated as well. But I think that was probably the hardest thing for me about coming to uni, was getting used to the sort of self-motivation and all that. But there's lots of support available. And when you, so there's like a coursework assessments and things, so I think they keep you sort of in check and make sure that you're sort of keeping up with the content and things. So there's lots of support available, and I think it is pretty hard to fall really far behind because there's people, like in your first year, for example, you've got your academic advisor, so they'll be keeping up with you. You've got a lot of support around, so the jump is not too bad.
We spoke with Trin a little bit earlier about the academic advisors. How did you two find how helpful they were?
Yeah, mine were. Mine academic advisor was quite good at keeping us in check and having regular meetings with us. Also, obviously, mine was quite a few years ago now, yeah, she was very good at keeping us in check. But even now, I always check in with my academic advisor. I actually have a different one from when I'm doing my masters. But still, like, they're such good people to have, and to keep sociable with them is important because they do write your references.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And so it's nice to have a good kind of relationship with them, so they know about you and they can really kind of kind of portray that in references.
And Amy, you chose the M Math instead of the BSc in mathematics. Why did you choose to do that?
Well, I didn't actually pick it to begin with. So when I applied here, I just applied for a BSc in Maths. And when I was in my first year, I thought people who did Masters were weird. And, you know, it wasn't, for me, I didn't think it was very achievable. But being here for a couple of years, I got a bit more confidence. And then when I went into my third year, I decided to switch over to the M Math. And I chose to do it that way instead of doing an MSc, purely with funding. So with an M Math, it counts as another year of an undergrad rather than having to fund a master's yourself. And also, I'm kind of just doing it because I enjoy maths, to be honest. Like, I'm not really too sure about, there probably are loads of like career benefits or whatever, but for me, I haven't done it for that reason. I just really, really enjoy studying. So yeah, that's why I picked M Math.
And as you sort of head towards the end of your time, perhaps at university, thinking about getting that job, how have you found the university in helping you at that stage?
Yeah, it's been very good. They, especially this year, they offer a lot of talks you can go and listen to about, say, current events or in the finance industry, for example. I've seen a few. One about fintech, so they really help you to sort of distinguish which parts of which jobs you like and dislike and may like to go into. There's also quite a lot of emphasis on getting experience. I found that as well. So they just emphasise in industrial placements or internships, etc.
And I just want to touch upon your experience, actually, because you did a summer internship in the finance division of Aberdeen Standard Investments. Very impressive. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so last summer I interned at Aberdeen Standard Investments in Edinburgh. So that's a nice change of scenery, from as far away as I could possibly get leaving the country. But yeah, so I did it in the finance division. So I saw things within finance, i.e. like financial reporting, tax, accounting, but also saw some stuff in the investment side, i.e. quant equity, fixed income, etc. But I think that was really beneficial in deciding what I want to do now. And I don't think I would have known what I wanted to do unless I did that. And again, because it was such an emphasised thing to do, that made it easier to know when to apply and how to apply, and etc.
And just bringing it back to how you felt when you were applying for university, people watching at home now who are 17, 18 years of age and thinking about making that next step, what do you say were the biggest changes from what you thought might be the case and what was actually reality once you came to university?
I would say I was most nervous, not even about the course. It was, for me, it was about making friends, but that really wasn't an issue once I was here. But that was what I was most concerned about, and like who would have similar kind of interests as me. Like, so I love going out for dinner. And I was like, well, am I going to find anyone that's like that? Because we're students, like, we shouldn't be able to afford this sort of thing. But, I mean, I found people, and I think that was my biggest worry. It probably shouldn't have been. But
and I think there's so many places to meet people, because you meet people where you live, you meet people on your course, if you're in a society, you meet people that way. So, yeah, it is so easy to meet people that are just like you, that... Yeah, I guess that's not something to worry about. For me, it was like the jump, definitely. I didn't think I'd be able to keep up with it, or I thought I'd get lost with the maths and things, but it's not really as bad as you think, and also everyone's in the same boat. A lot of people have come from the same qualification as you, doing an A-level, so like for me, on a pure maths degree, things like analysis, I found really hard to begin with. As soon as you ask somebody else, everyone else says it's really hard too. Everyone's in the same boat, so... yeah, I think if you're worried about maybe finding it too hard, I don't think that would be something to put you off applying for a maths degree, because I guess it's still hard now, isn't it, when you're studying and stuff.
Ease into it.
Yeah, definitely.
You learn how to tackle it, and there's so much help and advice from lecturers that you can go to, and they're just always there to help. That's a big thing.
I just want to discuss a bit more about what else you can do alongside your degree. Amy, just tell us a bit more about sort of outreach and being an ambassador.
Okay, yeah. So a part-time job I have at uni is being a student ambassador. So I applied for that in my first year, and I've been doing it ever since. So I'm in my fourth year of doing it now. So there's two sides to the ambassador role. So there's recruitment and outreach. So recruitment is working at things like open days and applicant days. So we talk to prospective students, doing things like this. And yeah, just give advice to people who are applying. And then we also do lots of outreach in the local community. So I've taught in local schools. I've been down to Portsmouth to visit a couple of colleges down there to give talks on maths and things like that. Next week I'm going into a school in, I think it's Broadstairs or something like that, to do sort of sessions. And actually this Saturday, for I think 5 weeks in a row we've been doing, or 6 weeks actually, we've been doing masterclasses for primary school kids. So these are sort of events to try and get people who maybe didn't think of STEM to be something they'd be interested in, trying to get them sort of engaged in that sort of thing. So we do loads, and it's definitely the best thing I've done since I've been at uni is being involved with the ambassador team.
Okay, and just to finish up, we'll go across the line. Just finally, your advice, your I suppose ideas about why people should study at the School of Maths.
It's an excellent school to study at. It's well respected. It's got a good reputation. Everyone that you would work with and all the lecturers are really helpful and happy to help you as well. A bit of advice would be, you're not going to get it straight away. Nothing you get, you understand instantly. So don't panic.
Have some patience. And just finally, the same question to you guys. Why should people study at the School of Maths?
Well, I think here everyone's so friendly, you're so well supported, and I feel like I've grown as a person since being here. So there's loads of opportunities available. The support for employability and things like that is excellent. So yeah, if you love maths and you want a good degree, then I'd say come here.
Yeah. If you enjoy it, go for it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure what I wanted to go into and what I wanted to do. So you choose what you're good at, what you enjoy, and then you go for it and you're fine.
Yeah, and really with a maths degree, you can do absolutely anything. I've been applying for jobs at the moment, and I've applied from things to finance, and I've applied for a counter-terrorism role with the civil service. So there's literally anything you can do with maths, or even actuarial science. There's loads of careers available as well. So I don't think you can go wrong by doing a maths degree.
Okay, thank you very much. Really, really good advice. Thanks to the three of you for answering those questions for us. So we just got time for a few more of your questions in the next few minutes. That's coming right up after this short clip about some of the research and projects available at the School of Maths.
So it's a really exciting part of the final year for students to be able to choose a topic in maths or statistics that they're really excited by and really explore it and research it in depth. From the mathematics behind tsunamis to the maths of a Rubik's Cube, from the statistics that you need to estimate populations of endangered species, to using statistics in finance, maybe to model the value of the Bitcoin.
They have the opportunity to spend a summer working on a research project. Our staff are within mathematics and statistics. They're all internationally ranked in their research. Some of them are among the top people in the world in their subjects. And that gives Kent a very vibrant, exciting environment.
Yeah, in mathematics, talents show up very early, and there is a long tradition of building bridges between school and university mathematics and research mathematics.
We built a computer program which can help us generate a larger samples of graphs, so we can then understand the structure behind them. Philip showed me how to write a research paper. In just 6 weeks gave me a lot of ideas. It shows to other universities or just other placement that you already have an experience in a research.
Okay, so we're just going to wrap up with a couple more of your questions which you've been sending in to us. Claire, you want to talk a bit more about some of the modules that are on offer here. Do you want to take us through some of those?
Yeah, so we were asked about what the module choices were, and so I said that in our first year there were no module choices in the programmes because we needed to consolidate knowledge and build new knowledge. But going into second year, there's lots of module choices. Depending on the programme, sometimes you choose half of your modules, sometimes you choose 2 of them. So the maths programme that Amy is on, you would choose half of the modules. The programme that Neroli is on, which is Actuarial Science, you have no choice because you've got so much Actuarial Science to learn. But on the maths and the joint honours degrees in your third year, maths in particular, you have absolutely full choice, and we probably have about 25 to 30 modules. They don't all run every year. They're not always available. It depends on the particular year, and not all programmes have access to all of them. But yeah, we've got a huge choice of modules.
And we've got Nurali, who is a student at the School of Maths. Now, you're from Nairobi in Kenya, so just tell us how you found settling into life at the University of Kent.
Initially, before I came, I was really excited to come to the university because it was also my first time coming to the UK, let alone coming to Kent. So that prospect was really exciting. And then coming here, as soon as I saw Canterbury and I saw the campus, I immediately fell in love with the university. And then after a week or so, I was a bit nervous because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to make friends, if I'd be able to adapt with the new culture. But then a month in, it was completely fine because during lectures, you're able to meet so many people. And then I joined quite a few societies. So through that, I can meet new friends. So settling wasn't that difficult. I think within 2 or 3 months, I felt like I was settled.
And what would you say to, because there might be potential international students watching at the moment, what would you say to them about putting them at ease regarding to coming to the University of Kent?
I think it's daunting in the beginning, but once you're here and once you've started learning, it's completely fine and you actually enjoy living here. You enjoy the prospect of staying away from home and meeting new people and learning new things. So it's not a difficult thing to do. It's actually quite exciting.
And you've done a placement year as well, so tell us a little bit about that.
So, because I'm an international student, I thought it would be very valuable if I could get some experience working in the UK. So I decided to do a risk management placement at UPS. This lasted for about a year. And during the year, I was able to learn so much about the insurance industry and learn about working with other people from different countries. And it was really nice because I got to travel to different places as well. And by the end of it, I was able to see that I do actually want to end up being an actuary, so it's something very valuable.
And Amy, I just want to touch upon something you said right at the end there, where you were applying for something in counter-terrorism. How would you go about potentially using something like maths in a job like that?
Well, anywhere where there's like data or anything like that, you need maths. But with the counter-terrorism role I applied for, it was about building models to sort of model, what do you call it, like shields or something like that, or strategy as well. But there's such a wide range of places where you can use maths in a career, but not necessarily the actual maths that you've sort of learnt, so working out things or whatever. Like the logical skills, the resilience and things like that are all skills that would be really, really useful in any career.
Yeah, it goes to illustrate again what we were talking about earlier about the diversity of the various jobs that you can get. Another question that we've had coming in, do keep them coming in for the next 10 minutes or so. We've spoken about academic support. What about student support and wellbeing?
So yeah, student support and wellbeing is a really important part of the university as well. We have a team of 2 people in our professional service team who deal with wellbeing, and they actually won an award last year, the university award. The university itself has an award for wellbeing support as well. So they are here as well as the professional departments within the university to support staff, to support students. They support staff as well, of course, for any challenges that life brings them, and they've got a really important thing. So we work very closely with the university's own central teams who provide that expertise and help the students get through their degree and deal with everything that comes alongside that.
And we've spoken about the undergraduate course quite a bit. What about the master's programme? Tell us a little bit more about what you can offer for people there.
So we've got several master's programmes here. We've got a new master's programme in statistical data science. That's been really popular. We have a master's programme in applied actuarial science, which Ian spoke about earlier, because Nurali's going to, hopefully, if she does really well, if she does well in her degree, she'll get about half the exemptions. The applied actuarial science gives you several more. And then we have a master's in mathematics and its applications, which runs alongside the undergraduate master's, which is the course that Amy's on, the MMath.
And we've got a question here, someone's been doing their research at home, which is, what is Recharge Your Maths?
Okay, so maybe one of you would like to talk about it first.
So Recharge Your Maths is, as soon as you enter a new academic year, so this would be in your first, second, third year, before you start your lectures, the lecturers will come up with a few questions that you must have covered in the previous year, just to get you on par with what you will be learning in the new modules. So it's just a way to remember what you did back then, and if you can't, then go through the material again. So when you start lectures in the new term, you're ready to begin and you're fairly aware of what's going on.
I think the summers are quite long, aren't they? So when you're going from like sixth form to uni, you haven't been studying since like May or June. So it's quite easy to forget things, and even between the years as well. So we tend to break up May and June again and come back at the end of September. So they're quite long summers. So you forget things a lot, don't you? So having the recharge on maths, just sort of a refresher basically to help you remember what you have forgotten over summer.
And just going back to something we were touching upon a moment ago, Amy, which is about Canterbury, what would you say about the place in general to people, people maybe watching it across the world and international students who potentially would come here, about what Canterbury's like just as a place?
So Canterbury's quite a small city. So we've got a big cathedral, and also we're quite near to the beach as well. So I say about 20 minutes away from the beach. What else have we got in Canterbury? There's loads of things, isn't there?
Just walking down the city, it's like you're in a fairy tale, really.
It's quite an old city, isn't it?
Yeah, I loved the city as soon as I got here, and that's one of the reasons that I really love studying at the University of Kent, because it's away from all the hustle of London, so you can come here and work in a peaceful environment, and at the same time, if you do want to have some fun, you can go into town, which is a 15-minute walk from the university, and there's quite a bit to do over there as well.
Why did you choose the University of Kent and the School of Maths initially?
So basically, when I was in year 12 and 13, there was this lady called Sue Hopkins from the University of Kent that used to come to Nairobi, Kenya and talk more about actuarial science. And that's where I learnt more about the exams, what the profession is, that got me interested. And when I was doing my research, I saw that the University of Kent is one of the very few universities that offer exemptions when you do actuarial science here. So that really got me interested in coming to the University of Kent.
And what about those links to London, which we were just talking about a moment ago? Do you think that's a really good thing that people can utilise if they do choose to come here?
Do you mean like transport links?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. The fact it's only an hour or so away.
Yeah, so people living in Europe, we're only about probably 10-15 minutes on the train from Ashford, and from Ashford you can get on the Eurostar to Paris, and you can get anywhere you want from there. But also we've got, I think it's 40 minutes on the train to get into London, and from there you can get anywhere in the world once you've got to the airports. So even though we're not quite London, it's kind of away from London, but still close enough which you can use the sort of transport links from there.
We've got very good transport links in general, so we've got quite a lot of students who commute, and then they drive in every day from wherever they live, sometimes for all years of their degree, and this enables people of all ages and people with families as well to come to university.
And accommodation is a big thing that people think about as well. How easy did you find it to find accommodation?
It was actually quite easy because I applied so late, so I was so worried that I would not get good accommodation, and so I actually ended up getting my first choice, which was Tyler Court, and I loved living there. It was amazing. The people living there were equally great. So it was a good experience, yeah.
And I think if you're an international student, you get accommodation for the 3 years.
Yeah.
But you live in town though, don't you? Why did you decide to live in town?
So in my first year, I lived on campus, and I really enjoyed the experience. But then after that, I thought it would be nice if I could live off campus, just because my brother is also at the University of Kent, so we're able to live together off campus, and I quite enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, plenty of flexibility about where you can go, which is one of the great positives. And we had another question coming in here. Can you change your course once you've started?
Perhaps I can start with that and say then, certainly within some of the programmes, absolutely. So Amy already spoke about going from the BSc to the MMath, and you can go from the MMath to the BSc. If you're thinking about doing the placement but you're not sure whether it is for you, then start off with the placement year, because it's very easy to change out of the placement year. And then the other programmes, certainly between maths and stats, you can change. You can't go from maths to actuarial science once you've gone beyond the first couple of weeks of term, because you haven't been studying the right materials. But between the other ones you can, and you can swap in and out of modules as well. So Amy, perhaps you could say more about that.
So it's like a 2-week period. So I've known people I live with in first year who've gone from studying drama to, say, I don't know, history. So you can almost, in the first 2 weeks, you can do pretty much anything. And even before you come as well, if you've already applied and you've got your offer, as long as you meet the requirements to get onto the course, even before you come, you can switch and stuff. But when you get here, after 2 weeks, it isn't so flexible. So like Claire said, the first year of maths and stats is exactly the same, so you can swap between them. What else? So actuarial sciences, which are going towards exemptions, it's not so flexible. But yeah, like Claire said with the placement, I'd say always choose the placement, because you get tutorials and advice and support in your first and second year applying, which even if you don't go on placement, you'll still use when you go and apply for jobs. But yeah, really in the first 2 weeks, anything goes, I think.
What would you say have been, for both of you, your favourite bits so far of studying here?
I don't know. I think what I like about maths is how challenging it is. So I quite enjoy being challenged, and I don't know, what about you?
I think my favourite part was when the new maths building opened,
Yeah.
because before we had a really small building, and then coming into Sibson in my second year was just amazing. There was so many study facilities, and there was just so much more we could do in Sibson that I really enjoyed studying the programme even more.
And what would you say about the support you've received from the lecturers? How much of a help has that been throughout your time here?
I think the support I've received is so much, and because Actuarial Science is not too big, it's really nice because the lecturers actually know you by name, so when you go visit them, they can actually help you the way you want. And same with the placement program. The support we received was invaluable, even from the Careers and Employability Services team, because when you go to them, they're genuinely interested in how you're doing, and they really want to help you secure that job. So I think that way coming here has been great, yeah.
And Claire, if people watching at home actually like to come and visit the campus, what options have they got?
They just need to contact us, so they can come. We have open days several times a year, so the next open days are July. But if they wanted to visit before then, they just need to get in touch via our email account, and they can come and visit, and we'll show them around, and we'll put them in contact with students and staff. And it's a really important thing, actually, although this is the virtual open day, to really understand what we offer and how our students like it here. They should really come and visit if possible. So if you're in the UK, come and visit and come and talk to some of our students.
And Claire, what would be your final bit of advice to people about why they should study here?
So I think we take, so as Nurali said, her lecturers, she feels as if they know them by name. I think we take great personal care to teach our students and to understand what they need and provide what they need and get to know them personally, and hopefully they get to know us too. So.
And Nurali, for yourself as well, what would be your final points to people at home about what they can achieve by coming here?
Coming here, you can come and learn so much about, especially if you're an international student, about adapting to new cultures, meeting new people, and at the end, learning something that you couldn't where you are. So coming to the university, there's so much you can learn from lecturers, from the people you're studying with, and also, like, I have the opportunity to also learn an additional language. So after my normal lectures till 6, I also learn French after that. So there's so much to do at the university.
And Amy, final word to you. Just summarise your School of Maths experience to date.
Challenging. 4 years now have been really, really difficult, but rewarding. And yeah, I just feel like 4 years later, I've come away such a better person. I feel now I'm really ready to go off into the world of jobs and yeah.
Okay, well, very best of luck with
Thank
that.
you.
So three of you, thank you very much. Thank you to all of our expert panel today. Thank you for you for watching and sending through your questions as well. That's all we've got time for today. Have yourselves a fantastic afternoon. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.